is ready to go. On the Fan, New York Sports Radio. Mike's on, Mike's on. He'll get you the sports any way that he can. It's Mike Francesa on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN.
From the studios of WFAN, this is Mike's on Francesa on the Fan on this Wednesday, the 27th day of June, as June dwindles to just a precious few days. July right around the corner. Holiday for that. So we got baseball again this evening as the Yanks try to continue their winning ways in Philly. Mets off a win last night, off all the emotion yesterday with the announcements with Sandy, with everything that went on. And then, another Wilmer walk-off, that's his specialty, as you know. I think it's 9 times he's done it. He has a habit for doing it, So the Mets get what is now a rare win on what was obviously an emotional day. There's been a lot said, a lot of speculation. So let's try to get a little fact into some of it, or some stuff that we can tell you that we've heard that will kind of, just clear up the picture a little bit as far as the Mets and what's going on. Number one, as you heard yesterday when we played you the Sandy press conference, Sandy made it abundantly clear what's going on here. He also made it abundantly clear that his Met career is over. I mean, he did that in a very emphatic way by saying that on the merits, did it warrant his coming back? I mean, which basically was admitting that things had not gone well. Talked about every one of the free agents, none of them having a decent year, all that stuff. So he told you. I mean, I was surprised at some of the questions, only from a standpoint of he made it abundantly clear that his career was over. I mean, if you just listened yesterday, he made it abundantly clear his career was over. So he's got clearly more important things, and as we mentioned yesterday, to take care of, and we send and hope, our prayers and our best thoughts to he and his family on what we hope is a very speedy recovery from, what is just a terrible disease that touches everybody and every family and everybody and everything else, as we all know. So we hope that's the case. That was obviously the most important part of the agenda yesterday. And now you go on from there because, hey, the team goes on, life goes on, the season goes on. There's been a lot of stuff speculated, a lot of talk about, the idea of the 3-headed general manager, which is not true. Okay. I mean, they have set it up so that Rico's going to be in charge. Is he the general manager? Well, not in name, but he's going to be in practice. JP is going to take care of what he's been taking care of, which is mainly the major league stuff. Omar's going to take care of the scouting, minor league, international, which is what he wants to do. He'll also advise on everything else. They both advise, and 3 guys get together, come up with what their plan is, and then obviously they take it to the ownership, and that's how it works. The one thing is, although he doesn't have the tag, he'll be you want to call him the point man, it's fine, whatever. He's the guy that's going to be spearheading it right now. And they will, it's my understanding, they will begin a search in the offseason. That doesn't mean the candidate is in the house, but they will begin a off-season search for a general manager. You can't do it in season. I heard a couple of calls mention that today. I was driving in. You can't go now. Teams don't give you permission to talk to their people in season. That has to be done off season. If you're going to go outside the organization, go to some other organization for a young, bright guy, go for someone else's guy, or go for some young, bright guy who's up and coming. You can't do that until the off season. That you don't get permission for that. You don't even ask for permission for that in season. That's an off season process. Now, what does that mean about where they are? A lot of people said, well, they'll shut it down now since they may be looking for a new general manager next year. Yes, they may be. Well, they will be looking for a full-time general manager. Whether he's in-house or not, we don't know. They will have a search that will include outside candidates, it's my understanding. But that will not stop them from being aggressive in the weeks to come. That's my understanding, is that they will be aggressive, that they will be action, that they will be making moves. And I think one of the first things you'll see is probably the 2 kids out of the minor leagues. I think that could happen rather quickly. I think that's being debated as we speak. I think that could happen much sooner than later. I think that's a possibility, more than a possibility. I expect it to happen. And I think they will be aggressive. Now, does that include a blockbuster trade? You know, my understanding has been all along that they don't really want to trade those guys. I felt comfortable in saying that was what their thought process was and remains. If somebody comes to them with an offer that is just too good to refuse, well then, maybe you make an adjustment. But barring something like that, of that extreme, most likely those guys are going to be here, and they will work around that. Now, the other day I told you that there were 3 guys that you would consider untouchable on this team, and that was DeGrom, Nimmo, and they felt comfortable because they just wanted to see what he was. They didn't really want to trade him off what has been a bad year. Other than that, everybody was open for business. Unlikely that a Syndergaard will be traded, especially since he has not been able to play on a certain level and put his worth on the table, especially with the injuries. But more than likely, anybody else would be open for conversation. It would take a miracle for them or just an insane offer for them to trade DeGrom. Highly unlikely that would happen. But my understanding is they will be aggressive. They will be open for business, and they will be probably a lot more aggressive than they've been in recent weeks now that this has happened. So I think that will be the case. I know there's been a lot of speculation about other things. Hey, who can say what would have happened if, he was feeling better, or if Sandy, wasn't going through what he's going through, or any of that? You know what? Who knows? I mean, you can't. Why go back and retrace that and try to figure it out? Because you can't. You can't. You have what the reality is. We know what reality is now. I think Sandy has tried to handle this in a very strong and dignified manner. He has not wanted to be something open for conversation. He has been very private about it. I don't blame him for being that. I'd want to be very private about it myself. I think he has done that. I think he has handled it in a very strong manner. We know he's a very, stoically tough guy. We know he's a bright man. We know he's a very tough man. Guy's a Marine. Okay, so he handled it with that kind of strength. Why anybody would want to speculate about his health, his status, and everything else, it's not worth doing. He made it abundantly clear yesterday that his days of being the general manager are over. And he's got more important things right now to deal with, and that is obviously life, which is and his family, which is what he will tend to right now. He will not be part of the decision-making, and the Mets will go forward starting right now. They have a lot of decisions to make. Now, are people going to be knocking their door down? Not really. I mean, let's be honest. Other than a couple of pitchers, they don't have a whole lot to trade. They don't have a whole lot people are going to go crazy about. Maybe somebody'd want to bring Cabrera into a team in a pennant race. He'd be a useful piece for somebody. Obviously, you could get a call for one of their other pitchers, a Lugo or someone like that. It would be attractive. I don't think they're looking to trade him. Other than that, it's just, who's going to want a lot of their players? Let's be honest. They don't have a whole lot of, everyday personnel that's going to be attractive to anybody. And Syndergaard's been on the shelf, so that plays into that. So let's be honest. I don't think there's going to be a million trades here. There could be a couple. A couple of guys could be moved. A couple of kids could be brought up. And that's more likely to be what happens with this team than anything else as they go through what will be probably a pretty quiet second half of the season. They've dug themselves a deep hole. They're not a very good team. They're actually a bad team with a couple of good pitchers who, one of whom has been healthy. The other one has not. Well, he's been unlucky. They've both been unlucky. One's been unlucky on the field. The other one's been off the field with his injuries. So that's where we are as the Mets get ready to play the last, second half of this season, which has been just really, let's be honest, a nightmare to this point. After the good run of the first, 12 days, it has been an utter nightmare. And they'll see if they can, salvage something from it as they head towards 2019. For the Yankees, another good performance last night, which has become very much part of, the ritual with Severino. He's done a very good job. The Yankees haven't had a whole lot of laughers. They had one last night. They haven't had a whole lot of games like that, but they've had plenty of wins, but not that many that have been like this. A very easy night for them right from the get-go. 4-0 after 3, tack a couple on, and be on your way as they were last night. Severino's had an amazing season with 12 wins. He's been is just about as good as anybody has been. His ERA, his performance, his consistency, his ability to get deep in the game. He has been just terrific as we get ready for the Yankees to play another game tonight and then get ready for what will be a very, very big weekend as the Red Sox will come knocking on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sabathia, Gray, and Severino set up for that series. And again, two teams, charting a course where it's going to be a very, very big summer. And really, they'll start to set the course for that rivalry over the second half of the season this weekend at Yankee Stadium with night games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as everybody's looking forward to that as we hit July and what will be, I guess, for a lot of people, the start of a long weekend, with the 4th of July on Wednesday. If you're lucky enough, you can squeeze it into almost a long week, with Saturday, Sunday. If you don't work Monday and Tuesday, it's a nice 5 days right there as we head towards the 4th of July. And it will start off this 4th of July or long holiday weekend with, of course, the Yankees and the Red Sox coming up. So we got a lot to get to, and we will get it all rolling right after this.